All right, guys, sorry I had to be gone today, but we are going to go ahead and take notes still. So with your paper, let's go ahead and take your paper and fold it this way in half, and then fold it this way in half. So you're going to have 4 sections on each side. Okay, so when I unfold it, I'm going to have 4 sections like this. And in the first box, put 7, 1, adding and subtracting. So you can put this all the way across the top. Polynomials. That's a 7. 7, 1, adding and subtracting polynomials. That's what we're doing today. Okay, so some vocabulary in this first box. A monomial is a real number, a variable, or the product of a real number and one or more variables with whole number exponents. So a monomial is a real number, a variable, or the product of a real number and one or more variables with whole number exponents. Now, if I'm going too fast, you can pause this video to get this written down and start it again when you're ready to go on. I'm not going to pause as much as I normally would during class. So an example of monomials, we're talking about one term here. 7 is a monomial. A is a monomial. And 14x to the 5th, y to the 4th is also a monomial. This is 3 different examples of monomials. That is your first vocab word. Your second new vocabulary word is degree of a monomial, which is the sum of the exponents of variables. For example, a to the first has degree 1. (14x to the 5th, y to the 4th, though, has degree 9. What is the degree of a constant? For example, 7. 7 is a constant, so it has degree 0. Why does it have degree 0? Well, 7x to the power of 0 is equal to 7 times 1, which equals 7. So if we use our exponent rules, which is what we did last week, we know that it has degree 0. Okay, so I'm done with my first box, and I used a lot of room there. You might want to write a little smaller if you are running out of room like I am, because the second box is going to have a lot in it also. A polynomial, the definition is a monomial or the sum or difference of two or more monomials called terms. For example, 7 plus a minus 14x to the 5th y to the 4th. Those monomials we talked about before. If we put a plus or a minus sign between them, that separates them. Together, they are a polynomial, but separately, you have 1, 2, 3 terms, separated by sum and difference. Okay, the next vocab word. If I'm going too fast, you pause the video and then you write the next word. Standard form of a polynomial is when the terms are written from biggest degree to smallest. For example, this polynomial from up here, the one with the biggest degree is this one. Remember, it has degree 9. So we're going to write that first, negative 14x to the 5th y to the 4th, because that has degree 9. And then we're going to add to that this term, a, because this has a power of 1. We just don't normally write it. So a has degree 1. And then we're going to add to that 7, because remember we said 7 has degree 0. So the degree of the polynomial is the greatest degree of any term, which in this case, this example is degree 9. Okay, we're going to close that off, and below that, we're going to make a table. Okay, so in this table, we're going to have, so I should probably kind of balance that out so it's a straight line across there. I know I went into this box a little bit by mistake, so hopefully you were able to keep it all in one box. But we're going to have polynomial and then a line. That's our first column. Degree is the second column. Name based on degree is the third column, and it's a little bit off center. My crease is right here. Number of terms is this column, and then name based on number of terms. This last column's a little wider because I'm going to have a little bit more to write in there. Okay, so that is the first row, the headings. So for example, now these are just going to be a bunch of examples, and they're not the only types of polynomials. But if we have negative 2 is sort of like up here, it's a constant. So the degree is 0, and its name is constant. This is only one term, and that's called a monomial. Okay. So that's one example. Another example is something like 4x minus 8. This x has a power of 1, but we don't normally write it. That's our degree, 1. This is called linear. The minus sign separates two terms, and that's called a binomial. Maybe you know that prefix from English. Bi means 2. The next example, 3x squared plus 2x plus 1, has the biggest exponent of 2, so our degree is 2. That's called quadratic. This quadratic has plus signs that separate 3 terms, and that's called, I don't know why I did that, a trinomial. Hopefully tri is a prefix you've heard before. The next example, negative 5 x squared y to the first plus x squared plus x minus 6. Okay, that's all one example. I just couldn't fit it all on one line, but that's all one example. The degree is going to be these exponents added together. So the degree is actually 3, which is called cubic. The plus and minus signs separate 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, which is just called a polynomial. It doesn't have a special name. Last example, 4x squared y squared minus 3xy plus 5x minus 2y plus 6. These exponents added together is our degree of 4. That is called fourth degree. We're not going to use a special name for numbers bigger, degrees bigger than 4. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, and so that is just called a polynomial. So we only have special names for terms 1 through 3, otherwise they're called polynomials. And we only have special names for degree 0 through 3, otherwise we're just going to call them 4th degree, 5th degree, 6th degree, and so on. Okay, I'm going to stop this video, and for the back I'm going to do a separate video so they're not as large file sizes.